Hey, baseball fans, Mac McGee here for the BCR. Make sure to subscribe and become a member today. All offseason, we have a jam-packed schedule to keep you entertained and informed during the MLB offseason. Weekly shows like MLB Today, and for you Country Clube members, Braves Country Today, going over the world of baseball, how it affects all teams, including the Atlanta Braves. Once Upon a Pastime series, Thursday nights, we'll take a deep dive on the history of this great game. And on Friday nights, Braves Country Theater, we're going to turn back the clock and bring you historic games from the past. We'll bring you a game from yesteryear. That's Braves Country Radio, the BCR. Coming this spring, a jam-packed loaded spring training schedule, wall-to-wall coverage of Major League Baseball. Pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play, the Atlanta Braves, and our out-of-town doubleheaders. American League, National League, we'll see you there for the classic call of the great game of baseball. Good evening, y'all. You'll go ahead and hit play on that video to pair up. We'll get rolling here in a second. The Atlanta Braves versus the Philadelphia Phillies. If you're putting it on your TV device, you're putting in Phillies versus Braves 7-11-85, but the link is also up in the chat to put into your phone. And I'm waiting for them to kick in and start the play-by-play. It's about 3 or 4 minutes in, and then we'll be ready to roll as I'm setting everything up. Hope everybody's having a good night here on a Friday night. I know a lot of y'all will be trickling in, getting off from work. I'm going to grab something to drink real quick, and we'll be ready for pitch-by-pitch, play-by-play. We'll get you the starting lineups as we roll along here as well. Welcome, y'all, and in for the first pitch of the game, Juan Samuel batting .258 as we kill the music here and get y'all into second pitch on the way. Is swung on and banged over towards the left side of the infield. It's going to be an easy 4-3 put out. Zuvella over to Homer. One away. Rick Shue, the batter. Rick Shue batting .268 on the air, and Shue has taken over the third base duties here as he is third baseman now for the Phillies. Mike Schmidt has been moved over towards first base. That pitch misses outside by Zane Smith. It's 1-0, the 1-0 right there on the outer edge. Evens up the count 1-1. So a 1-1 count. Swain chops it off his shoe right there. Rick Shue banging it off his shoe. Shue, .276 batter with 2 home runs. Righty-lefty matchup. kicks and fires. And swing and a miss, strike 3. Zane Smith gets him with the bender, down and in. 1 away. So 2 up, 2 down. Welcome into Braves Country Baseball here on a Friday night, Braves Country Theater. First pitch on the way is down and away to the left-handed bat of Von Hayes, batting .304 on this 1985 season. It's 1-0, the 1-0. Looked like a strike, but it missed outside the zone. 2-0. So a 2-0 count. Left to right around the outfield for the Braves. The pitch swung on and sliced foul out of play. Left to right for the Braves tonight, it's Harper in left. In center field, Murphy. Washington, Claudell Washington in right. And around the horn, third to first, it's Oberkfell is the pitch right there. That looked like it hit for a strike. Oberkfell at third. Rafael Ramirez at short. Zavella at second. And at first base, Bob Horner. That pitch there was chopped off foul. 0-0 your score, just getting going here in the top of the first inning. Sun starting to go down here at Fulton County Stadium. Smith kicks and fires. Swing, chopper, comeback right to the mound. That's going to be an easy 1-3. And Smith to Horner, and that'll end the inning. Phillies go down 1-2-3. We'll be back in a flash here on Braves Country Theater. The Braves grab the sticks when we return. Infield will be back into the right as the Braves. Claudell Washington digs in. Claudell Washington, the right fielder for the Braves, batting .279. 9 home runs on the year. Takes the first pitch, a bender right there on the outer edge from Denny. It's 0-1. What you'll see from Denny tonight is he is a soft-tossing right-hander, more of a pitcher as opposed to a thrower, as that pitch misses outside wide. 1-1. Claudell Washington, batting .321 on his career versus the Phillies. The pitch on the way, swing. That ball is roasted into right field. That's down for a base hit. And your Atlanta Braves have one on and nobody out to start the top of the first inning. Good piece of hitting there by Washington. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way to Rafael Ramirez is outside for a ball. It's 1-0. Ramirez batting .309 lifetime versus the Phillies. He's in the middle of a 9-game hitting streak entering tonight's action. Pitch on the way, swing. That ball sliced into right field. That's down for a base hit, and that's going to get down. Runners at first and second. Nobody out, and Rafael Ramirez will extend his hitting streak to 10 games. So first and second, nobody out. Pitch on the way is outside wide for a ball. It's 1-0. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Dale Murphy, your batter, 1-1. Dale Murphy, top 5 in all offensive categories for the 1980s. Still waiting for his call to the Hall. Pitch on the way is swung on, chopped over towards third, and that's going to be an infield hit. Both Denny, the pitcher, and the third baseman Shoe almost collide, and it's going to be a soft roller, and your Atlanta Braves have runners all over the bases. Good to see you, Rich 22. Bases loaded, nobody out. Pitch on the way to Bob Horner, the cleanup hitter. Takes it high and out of the zone. So Horner coming in with the bases loaded. Nobody out. The pitch on the way. Drops a curveball right there at the knees. That'll even up the count 1-1. Braves wearing their white uniforms, home white uniforms. The pullovers, 1980s look. Braves in blue across the chest, outlined in red. Pitch outside wide. Misses. So bases loaded, nobody out. You got Washington at third, Ramirez at second, and Murphy at first. Good speed all across the bags. I don't understand what you're trying to say, Rich. The pitch outside wide. That ball gets away, but it's blocked by Ozzie Virgil, the hind catcher. John Denny comes into this game with a 5-7 record, a 3.84 ERA. Nothing your score. You can pair it up on your other device by clicking on the link at the top of the chat that's pinned. The pitch on the way, swing and a miss, strike 3. Horner down on strikes, 1 away. Now the Phillies can move the infield into double play depth in hopes of getting out of the play. Yeah, I mean, that shouldn't slow anything down. We had the members only mode on this morning. I think everybody's just late getting in. We put it back to subscribers for now, but we'll see how they play that. I don't have a lot of control over it. It's whatever they want to do. Terry Harper, the batter, righty-righty matchup. Batting .295, 31 RBI with runners in scoring position. Harper, the left fielder for the Atlanta Braves. Pitch up top. Misses high, it's 1-0. And y'all change y'all's handles so much that I've given up on trying to figure out who's who. Pitch misses outside wide, we'll do it again. Terry Harper batting .266 on the year, 8 home runs. Remember, this game is taking place on July 11th, so about midway through the season, just before the All-Star break. Pitch on the way, down and away, check swing. Pitch caught right there on the outer edge. Might have been a little bit of a wide strike, but definitely looked like it might have hit the zone. Denny brings it, swing, chops it foul. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Got him with the high cheese right across the chest. 2 down. So now the Braves are in danger of leaving them loaded, bases loaded. 2 outs, nothing, your score. We'll keep the score up there on the screen. Pitch on the way is outside wide. 1-0. Ken Oberkfell, the batter, playing third base tonight as Horner's been slid over to first. Chambliss is on the bench. Pitch is right there on the outer edge, called for a strike, evens up the count at 1-1. So who is Rich at 22? Is that Uncle Charlie? Pitch right there on the outer edge. 2-1 count, bases loaded. Kicks and fires. Swing, chops it hard over to first, but right at the first baseman, Mike Schmidt. And Michael Jack Schmidt will step on the bag, and that'll end the inning. Braves lead them loaded. We'll go to the second inning. 0-0 your score. Welcome back. Pitch right there from Zane Smith. Brings it in for a strike. It's 0-1. The 0-1 swing and a miss. Mighty hack at the pitch right down the pipe. Glenn Wilson. Batting .263 on the year. It's 0-2. The 0-2 fouls that one off. Pitch on the way, swing, chops it off the plate. Almost a Baltimore chopper, but it was foul. Glenn Wilson is hitting 5 of his last 6 games, 7 for 24 in that span. As the pitch on the way, swing, slices it foul, we'll do it again. Kicks and fires, swing, and rips it down the third base line. Just foul. Do it one more time. I'm assuming Rich 22 is Charlie, but I haven't gotten a clarification. But anyways, whoever you are, Rich, good to see you. I recognize, or is that BA? Kind of looks like his... Kind of looks like BA's profile picture. Okay, it is BA. Good to see you, BA. Good to see you, Daniel Barry. 0-0 your score. Zane Smith kicks and fires, misses outside wide. That'll even up the count at 2-2. Nobody out here in the second inning. Both teams are in 5th place in the NL East and the NL Central. Remember, this is back in the day when the NL East and NL West. There was no NL Central is what I was trying to say. And Braves were in the National League West, and they were expected to contend that year. It's a pitch on the way, swung on, chopped down the line. But off to a really bad start at the time. Stepping out of the box and readjusting his cap. Here's the pitch. Inside, high and inside, misses. Zane Smith, the southpaw. He came up through the Atlanta Braves organization. The pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Strike three. Got him with the second strikeout of the day. One away. Smith in 2 outings versus the Phillies already. Now remember, the Braves started the season that year in Philadelphia. They swept the Phillies on a 2-game series in Philly as that pitch down and into Mike Schmidt. It's 1-0. Mike Schmidt, 10 home runs on the year, batting .236, future Hall of Famer. Takes the pitch on the outer edge. Called for a ball. 1-1 count. Outside wide, ball 2-2. Two one count, swing, hammered towards left field. That's going to go off the wall, up against the wall, coming off the carom, firing the ball into the infield is Harper, and it's a 1-out double for the Philadelphia Phillies. He just missed pay dirt by about, we'll call it top of the wall, maybe 3 or 4 feet there at the top. Schmidt came into this game at the time at 435 home runs lifetime. Zane Smith played for the Braves from 84 until 89, so this is his second year with Atlanta at this point. First pitch on the way, down and into Ozzie Virgil. Lefty-righty matchup. Second pitch misses down and in. Nothing your score. Go ahead run stands at second. Infield back. It's shaded a little bit to the left, but not the overshift that you see today. There's a pitch right there. Drops a changeup on the inner cut. Standing on deck is John Russell. Steve Yelt's in the hole. Pitch on the way. Just misses outside. Ball 3-1. So a 3-1 count. Pitch misses outside wide, ball 4. So he'll head on down to first. First and second. 1 out. And the right-handed bat of John Russell steps to the plate. First pitch on the way. Swing and a miss up top. Challenge him with the high cheese. It's 0-1. Russell batting .192 on the year with 2 home runs and 6 RBI. Pitch on the way to Russell is called for an outside wide strike. The 0-2 down and in. I was going to say he held up. I mention this all the time during the regular games, but you'll notice right there wasn't an appeal down to first base because back in those days, the umpire had to ask for it. It is totally flipped. Now you'll see catchers ask for it, and they still have to be okayed by the umpire. But back then, as that pitch misses inside, back then, if you just pointed down to first base to try to get an appeal, the home plate umpire would automatically call it a ball. Here's Charlie. Pitch is outside wide. Way outside the zone. Good job by Rick Cerrone to keep that from going to the backstop. Swing and a miss, strike three. Blew it right by him on the outer edge. Big out number 2 for Zane Smith. Steve Yeltz stands in. First pitch is right down the pipe for a strike. It's 0-1. Lefty-righty matchup. Runners on first and second. Yeltz 0 for 5 versus the Braves so far here in 1985. Pitch down and in. Looked like the curveball. That'll even up the count. Southpaw brings it, bangs the outer edge. Does not get the call. So a 2-1 count, runners at first. 2 outs and second. As the pitch, that looked like it hit the knees right there. Does not get the call. Man, he is getting pinched. 3-1. You're thinking about who is in the dugout for the Atlanta Braves. Is the pitch right there up top. Two strikes the count. Remember, Bobby Cox did not come over until the late 80s. The pitch on the way down and away, ball 4, and that'll load the bases up. And now they have the bases loaded. There are 2 outs in a 0-0 game. Of course, back then, runs were at a premium. But back to what I was talking about a second ago. Eddie Haas was the manager for the Braves in 1984. It had been Joe Torre from 82 to 84. As the pitch on the way, swung on, chopped over to second. Zuvella's got it, flips it to Bob Horner. He'll make the catch, 4-3 your scorecard, and that'll end the inning. So both teams have loaded the bases. Both teams have come up snake eyes. We'll be back in a flash. Braves nothing, Phillies nothing. Bottom of the second we go. A little later in the season, Eddie Haas would get fired and Bobby Wine would be the manager. Now, while this is going on, I looked it up because I was curious. Bobby Cox was the manager of the 85 Blue Jays, and he had a 3.5 game lead in the division for the Toronto Blue Jays in the AL East. Of course, that was back when you only got one team from each division made the playoffs, and that was it. So the winner of the NL West and the winner of the NL East would face each other with the right to go to the World Series. Back then it was a best of 5. It was not a best of 7. Righty-righty matchup as we begin the bottom of the second. First pitch swinging right back to Denny. Denny's got it, flips it to first, and that's an easy 1-3 put out. Here to start the bottom of the second, Zuvella down on one pitch. Rick Cerrone, the backstop for the Atlanta Braves, comes to the plate. Batting .226 on the year, 2 home runs, 13 RBI. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way is right there on the outer edge. Called for a wide strike up top. It's 0-1. The 0-1. Bender swung on, banged on the ground. It's going to be a 6-3 put out. Juan Samuel. Sorry, that's Yelt Samuel's the second baseman for the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. He moved all around the infield, but was primarily a second baseman for the Phillies. Zane Smith, the pitcher, back in the days when we had pitchers batting, which really wasn't that long ago, but it seems so strange today. First pitch on the way, swing and a miss up top, just over the pit, looked like a fastball. It's 0-1, the 0-1. Curveball, misses outside wide, 1-1. Typically, you did not see pitchers swing early in counts because their job was really just to try to drive the pitch count up. And maybe get on base with the walk. The pitch on the way, swung on, chopped over to Samuel at second. He's got to charge it. He's got it, underhands it, and that'll end the inning. Juan Samuel with a great defensive play. We'll be back in a flash. Phillies and Braves, 0-0. Bottom of the third we go. Welcome back. Juan Samuel will lead us off after a good defensive play to end the inning. And for that era, Juan Samuel had pretty good pop for a second baseman. It was not expected for a second baseman in that day to be a five-tool player, but he could steal bases. He hit for a decent average, and he also had plenty of power. Tall, wiry second baseman digs in. First pitch on the way, showing bunt. The pitch misses outside wide. It's 1-0. Juan Samuel has hit safely in 10 of his last 14 games versus the Phillies, for the Phillies, 17 for 55 with .309 average. The pitch on the way, swing. That ball is chopped just foul. That missed extra bases by about a foot or so, as the third baseman, Oberkfell, had come in to protect against the bunt. So a 1-1 count. Good to see everybody in the chat. I see Jeep and Charlie. Curveball thrown low and away. Ball 2. I know I saw Envy in here a little while ago, and Brian and Daniel Berry. Pitch on the way is down and away. Ball 3. So he's in danger of walking Samuel, who is a stolen base threat. He's got a 3-1 count, no outs, in a scoreless game. The pitch on the way, swing! That ball's popped up, and that'll bend out of play. Over the first base dugout, we got a full count. The Braves had plenty of foul territory down the right and left field lines in those days in Fulton County Stadium. Remember that it doubled as a football stadium for the Falcons. Here's the wind up the pitch, swing, rifles that foul just a touch behind that one. So a good battle here going between Zane Smith and Juan Samuel. 0-0 your score. And fires, swing, chops that foul. Really making them work here. It's kind of gone Bender, fastball, Bender, fastball. Went with the change there. Another payoff pitch and swing. That ball's fouled back. We'll do it one more time. Zane Smith nowadays is 64 years old. He's a native of Madison, Wisconsin. Southpaw kicks and fires. Swing, rifles it high and deep into right center field. Going back on the track. That ball is gone. A solo shot for the Philadelphia Phillies. Zane Smith loses that battle. That was the 9th pitch of the at-bat, and Samuel rifles it over the wall for his 8th home run of the season. Back then, 8 home runs, not just for a second baseman, but for a leadoff hitter. That was incredibly high for halfway through the season. Wasn't quite the dead ball era, but the 1980s baseball home runs were few and far between. First pitch on the way to Rick Shue, misses outside. Pitch on the way, swung on, chopped off his front foot, it looked like. Appears to be okay. 1-1. So a 1-1 count. Brings it inside. 2-1. Pitch on the way, swung on, pops it up high and deep into center field, but Dale Murphy's underneath it. He'll make the grab, put that man in the Hall of Fame. 1 away. Hopefully the next time the Veterans Committee comes up for Dale Murphy, which is in early December, we'll get good news on him. First pitch down and away. This is for a ball. Vaughn Hayes, the batter. It's 1-0. He is up for the Veterans Committee. We're going to do a special show on Thursday, December 4th, going over all the players who are up for that vote. The announcement will be made that Sunday, the following Sunday after the show. So if you want to get an idea of who we think should and should not be in. Pitch quickly back from Smith, fires a fastball right underneath his hand, swing and a miss. And then, of course, Andrew Jones will be awaiting his announcement, hopefully in January. We could get a Hall of Fame where it's both Andrew Jones and Dale Murphy, as that pitch is swung on and sliced foul down the third base line. That'd be a hell of a day, wouldn't it, if you get Andrew and the Murph in the same night. Good to see you, C. Height. Lefty-lefty matchup. The pitch on the way. Caught like a strike 3. He got caught watching the paint dry, and Hayes fires his bat away in disgust. Did not like the call, but it did look like that it hit the outer zone. Good pitch by Zane Smith. Nasty heat after he lulled him to sleep. 4th strikeout of the night. First pitch right there is a curveball out there to Glenn Wilson, taken for a strike. It's 0-1. Lefty-righty matchup, swing and a miss up top. Zane Smith brings it. Curveball down and away. If you want to follow along with what we're seeing and what I'm calling, it is pinned to the chat. And if you're putting it on on a Roku device, you want to know how to search it, just put Phillies versus Braves 7-11-85. It should be the first thing that pops up. Looking at it here, we're about 41 minutes into the broadcast. Pitch on the way, swung on and ripped over to second. And L4 in your scorecard, and that'll end the inning. Phillies take the 1-0 lead. We'll be back in a flash. Braves grab the sticks when we return.
You shut up!
Defensive change. Luis Aguayo is going to be playing third base now. Shu has been taken out of the game. It appears it is a lower back strain. They were thinking it had something to do with the foul tip off his foot, but it ends up being a back strain. Maybe after he fouled the ball off his foot, maybe on the follow through on his final out, maybe that had something to do with it. But he is out of the game, so it's Aguayo at third. And Claudell Washington, big swing and a miss. It's 0-1. He was one of my favorite players growing up. This is about the time I really started watching game after game, night after night of the Braves. I'd become a fan of baseball about 3 years earlier. In 83, I watched quite a bit. 84, I watched a little more. And by 85, I was really locked in. We used to watch the ball games with my grandfather. And he always made sure on Friday nights that we watched the Braves broadcast, unless my grandmother wanted to watch Dallas. And if Dallas was a new episode, we had to go hide out in the garage. 2-2 count to Claudell Washington. The pitch on the way. Swing, chops it over towards second. That's going to be a 4-3 put out. One away. Zane Smith, the starter for the Atlanta Braves. He pitched for the Atlanta Braves until July 2nd, 1989, when he was traded to the Montreal Expos for Sergio Valdez, Nate Minchie, and a minor leaguer named Kevin Dean. Smith then in 1990 was traded to the Pirates, and he was on the bench of the last game we did. As Rafael Ramirez, the batter, takes the pitch high and inside. 1-0. 1-0. Bangs it right there at the knees. But he was on that Pirates team that the Braves beat in back-to-back years in 91 and 92 in the postseason. Denny bends a curveball down and in. 2 strikes. Denny is just, he was a true pitcher's pitcher. He didn't have a great career as the pitch on the way swung on. That ball sliced towards center field. Making the sliding catch out there in center field is Vaughn Hayes. Wow, what a play. 2 down. I did not think he was going to get to that one. First pitch on the way to Dale Murphy is a curveball, and Uncle Charlie right there at the knees. 0-1. Murphy, 8 for 13 lifetime against Denny. But Denny throws that 12-6 curveball, but it's not like today's curveball. It is a true slow pitch. The pitch on the way, swung on, banged hard over to third. And Aguayo's got it, fires it to first. Schmidt has to backhand the one hopper that was hard into the dirt. Good play by Michael Jack Schmidt, and that'll end the inning. We'll head to break. The Braves trail by 1. It's 1-0. Phillies' turn to grab the sticks when we return. Lefty-righty matchup. Zane Smith fires the first pitch in there to Schmidt. Called high for a ball. It's 1-0. 1-0. Kicks and fires. Swing. Chops it foul down the line. Zane Smith, of course, this is back in the air where you didn't even pay attention to the pitch count, as the pitch on the way is right there on the outer edge. They just kind of went with the feel. By this time, they were starting to realize that you couldn't just send a guy out there for 9 innings, but as the pitch on the way is swung on and lined into the glove of Rafael Ramirez, L6 in your scorecard, went away. But they didn't really start paying attention to the actual pitch count until the late 90s. Zane Smith in the set to face Ozzie Virgil, lefty-righty matchup. First pitch is fouled off into the seats. It's 0-1. Yeah, see, I've mentioned it a couple of times that it's pinned at the top. If you're trying to follow along here, where are we at now? Now we're at the 48th minute of the video. We'll always pin it at the top so that you can play along. Pitch on the way is down and in for a ball. It's 1-0. And once again, if you're wanting to put it on like a Roku device, because you can't really see the links and click them like that on a Roku device if you're trying to watch on your TV, as that bender misses down below the knees. You're going to go to Phillies versus Braves 7-11-85. Pitch is right there for a strike. The Braves, this is the 5th game in the season versus the Philadelphia Phillies, and they are currently 4-0 versus Philly. Pitch on the way to Virgil, swung on and licked it high, deep, into left field. Just before the warning track, getting underneath it is Terry Harper for a loud out, F7 in your scorecard. John Russell, the batter. Russell 0 for 9 versus the Atlanta Braves. First pitch to Russell, lefty-righty, is right there on the outer edge. It's 0-1. Pitch misses, down and away. Excuse me, 1-0. That'll make it ball 2-2. So a 2-0 count. Swing, hits it hard on the ground over towards Bob Horner. He'll step on the bag. The former third baseman heads to the dugout, and the Braves get a 1-2-3 inning. So we'll grab the sticks and see if we can tie this one up. 1-0 your score. Philadelphia leads the Bean Eaters. Bob Horner coming to the plate. First pitch is a hanging curveball up top for a ball. It's 1-0. They put Bob Horner over to first base because Rich Chambliss had started to age. He was still on the roster, sitting on the bench tonight. But they wanted to keep Horner's bat in, and Ken Obertfell was a better defensive third baseman and had come up and was a pretty good stick at the time. Pitch on the way to Horner is swung on and grounded up the middle. That'll go right to Yeltsin, and he'll fire it over to first. It'll be a 6-3 put out. Yeltsin to Schmidt, one away. Terry Harper, your batter. First pitch on the way is swung on and hard chopper over to third, but Aguayo's got it. This time he'll step into the throw and get it all the way over to Schmidt. Hit him about chest high. 5-3 in your scorecard, 2 down. Remember the previous inning, he'd thrown one in the dirt. I'm sure something was said to him. That'll bring the left-handed bat of Ken Obrickfeld. No batting gloves at all. Takes the first pitch right down there on the outer edge. It's 0-1. The 0-1 pitch. Drops a bender. Outside wide, 1-1. The 1-1 swing and a miss. Curveball falls off the table. 1-2. Good pitch there by Denny. Oberkfeld batting .274 on the year. Pitch on the way. White down the right field line, but foul. It'll hop the fence into the crowd there just past the tarps. And we'll do it again. Pitch misses high and out of the zone. Oberkfeld digs in, swing, rips it into right field. That's down for a base hit. And your Atlanta Braves got something cooking here, trailing by 1. I guess realistically I shouldn't be using the chop. This game predates the chop. Tomahawk chop did not come to the Atlanta Braves until the early 90s when Deion Sanders appeared. As the story goes, the Florida State Alumni Club, Booster Club in Atlanta came out to support him on a start. They started the chop that had started at FSU. I want to say 85, 86 is right in this area where they began it. And it caught on like wildfire with the similarities to the Seminoles and the Braves. Runner at first, righty-righty matchup. Zavella, the batter, swung on. High chopper over to third. Gonna have to hurry. Here's the throw, and Zavella is out by about a step. He was busting it down the line, but to no avail. So a difficult throw. You got to tip your cap to Aguayo. He's made some pretty good plays over there, filling in for the injured Rick Shue. We'll be back in a flash. 1-0 your score. Yeltsin leads it off, the number 8 hitter. And that is a blast from the past. They're putting up on the screen. Catch Pepper Rogers. Sports page. 10:05 Eastern. By the way, can we go back to when the Braves used to start at 5 minutes past the hour? Remember, they were always 7:05, 7:35, whatever it was. It was always 5 minutes past the hour or a half hour. Pepper Rogers, he would have been on there in 1985 because he was the head coach of the Memphis Showboats of the USFL. And I looked it up. This was the USFL Championship week. So that's what he would have been talking about, is a little football in July. Steve Yeltsin is the batter, batting .187 on the year. 1-0 swung on, chopped over towards second, and Zavella makes a sliding attempt, but he boots the ball, and it's going to be most likely an infield single. See if they give that an error. I don't think he's going to get him if he makes that play. See how they scored that. The pitch on the way is showed for a bunt. John Denny, the pitcher, bangs it foul. It's 0-1. 1-0 your score. Pitch is push foul on another bunt attempt. Not a really good bunt attempt on either time here by Dane. He's kind of punching at the ball. We talk about it during the regular season. When you set up for a bunt, you almost want to catch the ball with your bat. You want to be just on top of it and catch it as you lightly tap it. He's more punching at it. You're more likely to end up with an out. Pitch on the way is high and out of the zone, taken for a ball. As Denny squared around once again. A lot of times in these days, it did not matter what the count was, even with the 2 strikes. If the pitcher was a bad enough hitter, they would continue to allow him to bunt. They figured he had a better chance of getting a bunt. As the pitch on the way is chop foul, strike 3. And that'll retire the pitcher. One of the main reasons they would do that is they figured you would rather have him strike out there on a bunt attempt than to bang into a double play. Juan Samuel, the batter, the last time he came up, hammered one over the right center field fence for his 8th home run of the year. Zane Smith flips it over to first real quick. Keep the runner close by. Yelks with a pretty good sized lead out there. The pitch on the way is a bender inside, did not get the call. Both Smith and the Braves backstop, Rick Cerrone, did a long pause because they could not believe they did not get that call. That's about as much barking as you would do in an umpire back then. 1-0 misses down and away, ball 2-2-0. 2-0 count. Braves trail 1-0. Kicks and fires, swing, chops it foul. Off the plate and then ricocheted off his bat towards the backstop. Phillies 1, Braves nothing. Pitch on the way, swung on, and that ball's chopped foul. Another Baltimore chopper high into the sky in between home and third. We'll do it again. They did give a single to Yelts, by the way. As the pitch on the way, swing and a miss, strike 3. Got him with the bender. I mean, that thing was a balloon diving down and in. Good pitch there by Smith. He buckled Juan Samuel into a pretzel. First pitch on the way after that is swung on. That ball's chopped through the hole, and that's going to be a single. Yelts took a wide turn at second, slams on the brakes, but the Phillies have something cooking here in the top of the 5th. I think this has happened before. Y'all are talking about the screen names. Pretty sure this has happened before, and it gets fixed within a day or so. I wouldn't bug out about it too much. I understand why it's annoying. As the first pitch on the way is up top. Vaughn Hayes, the batter. Lefty-lefty matchup. His career versus Zane Smith is 3 for 6 lifetime, batting .500. Wiry center fielder made a really good sliding catch in the second inning. It takes a swing at that pitch, slices it towards left. Terry Harper makes the sliding catch. Did he hold on? Man, they're giving him the out. It almost looked like he might have trapped that one. We'll take it. Will Head to the bottom of the fifth. 1-0 your score. The Braves grab the sticks when we return. Welcome back. First pitch on the way. Swung on by Rick Cerrone. High chopper. He'll get gunned down from the shortstop. Yelts deep in the hole. Really good play there by Steve Yelts. He had to backhand that ball. It was a two-hopper deep in the 5-6 hole over the head of the third baseman that was trying to converge on it. And Yelts gets the slow-footed catcher for the first out of the inning. First pitch is a swing and a miss by Zane Smith. Even he had to laugh at that swing. It's 0-1. That was kind of a flailing attempt at the pitch. The 0-1 swing and a miss. It's 0-2. 0-2 count. Zane Smith 3 for 21 on the year. Pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, strike 3. I don't know how Zane Smith ever got a base hit swinging like that, to be honest with you. He's just flailing away at it. Then he's throwing on the outer part of the plate, and he's trying to pull it. Claudell Washington, Atlanta Braves leadoff hitter, steps in. Righty-lefty, first pitch on the way, swing. That ball is smoked over to second, but Juan Samuel is there, and that's going to be a really quick fifth inning. 3 up, 3 down. We'll be back in a flash. The Braves trail the Phillies 1-0. Good play by Samuel. Lefty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way is outside wide for a ball to Glenn Wilson. It's 1-0. Wilson 0 for 2 on the day. Takes the 1-0 outside wide, ball 2-2. You got Wilson, Schmidt is on deck, and then Ozzie Virgil. 2-0. Swing, fouls it back. Straight back to the backstop, 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is swung on. That ball is going to get dropped into left field. That's going to get down up against the wall, and the Phillies have themselves a double. They've got the second run of the game in scoring position with the 1-0 lead. I had to laugh at John's comment. He said at least my email was Braves related, because I think that's what they're showing is everybody's email. And can you imagine if someone had something creepy on their email and it's just flashing? That's the first thing that came to my mind is someone having like, I don't even know what, but something creepy for their email. It's a pitch on the way, down and in. Mike Schmidt takes it for a ball. It's 1-0. Right down the pipe. Called for a ball as Jeff Dedman, the right-hander, warms up in the bullpen. Phillies 1, Braves 0. Top of the 6th. Pitch on the way, swing, rifles it foul. Of course, Mike Schmidt would end up with over 500 home runs and end up in Cooperstown. It's the twilight of his career that we're catching him here. Played for another, four plus seasons. His heyday was late 70s into the early 80s. Pitch on the way, swung on and chopped over to third. Oberk fell to it with plenty of time. Throws it to first. The throw comes off the bag, but Horner tags Schmidt coming down the line. They did hold the runner at second. Dangerous play there. You almost had a collision there with Horner and Mike Schmidt. Two teams in fifth place in their division could ill afford to lose both of those guys. They have announced the Braves Fest. That's going to be January 31st. So we're planning on meeting up there. I'm still trying to get the details of what time all that. So it's a Saturday as the pitch on the way swung on, chopped over to third. It's going to be a 5-3 put out. The runner at second comes down to third base. Here comes the relay, and Horner fires a perfect throw, but it's not in time. Kind of a dangerous play there because the last thing you want to be is the last out of the inning at third. But good hustle there by Wilson. Lefty-righty matchup, runner at third, 2 outs. The pitch on the way, down and in. Russell takes it for a ball. It's 1-0. Glenn Wilson. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Wilson down at third base, 90 feet away, trying to double the lead for the Phillies. It's 1-0 Philadelphia. Pitch on the way from Smith is swatted high, deep, foul territory. Giving chase is Claudell Washington. They will run out of real estate as it just goes into the crowd. Been years since I've seen a game in Fulton County played. I've forgotten how they had the fans sitting down there down the line where you can kind of lean over. They ended up expanding by the time the Braves made it to the postseason in '91, but right now there's like folding chairs and whatnot down there. That next pitch is on the way, swung on, the curveball grounded foul. Do it again with 2 strikes. The 1-2 count. Outside wide, 2-2. Tried to get him to chase one off the edge. The 2-2 swing and a miss, strike 3, and that'll end the inning. So the Phillies strand 1 at third. The Braves will grab the sticks when we return, trailing 1-0. One nothing your score. First pitch on the way to Rafael Ramirez is outside off the plate. It's 1-0. 1-0. High and inside, ball 2-2. Ramirez 1 for 2 on the day, extending his hitting streak to 10 games. The pitch misses outside wide. 3-0. 3-0 count. Taken all the way was Rafi. 3-1. 1985, you could not have convinced me there was a better shortstop in baseball than Rafael Ramirez. He was my guy, man. I loved Rafi. Is the 3-1 pitch swung on. That ball's chopped through the middle, and That's going to be a leadoff single for your Atlanta Braves. Good piece of hitting there by Ramirez. Dale Murphy will come to the plate. 1 run, 5 hits, no errors for the Phillies. No runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Braves here in the bottom of the 6th. First pitch to Dale Murphy, the 2-time MVP. In 83 and 84, and in 85, or 82 and 83. In 85, he was the leading vote getter for the major leagues for the All-Star game. Pitch on the way to Murphy, swung on and lifted into right field, drifting over, making the catch. That'll be F9 your scorecard, 1 away. I mean, he was baseball for many people in the 1980s growing up. Not just for folks that were Braves fans, but remember at the time, you got TBS nationwide, and so people turned on their TVs all across America, and Dale Murphy won 2 back-to-back MVPs. He was the definition of 1980s baseball. It's what people thought of. Pitch on the way to Bob Horner is swung on and chopped over towards third. It's going to be an easy 5-3 putout. No chance to get Rafi. There's a long way to go for Aguayo. So 5-3 on the putout. There are 2 down, but Rafael Ramirez moves into scoring position. One hour, 13 minutes, and some change is where we're at right now. I saw someone bring it up a second ago. Just wanted to acknowledge. Appreciate that. Is that C-Hype or is that someone else? First pitch on the way is outside wide. Slider misses for a ball. It's 1-0. The 1-0. Bender right there on the outer edge. 1-1. The 1-1. Curveball misses high. Terry Harper batting 5th in the order. Ken Hobart fell. Standing on deck. Zavella in the hole. We're in the bottom of the 6th, trailing by 1. The pitch on the way. Swing, pops it up. Can of corn over towards first base area. And Michael Jack Schmidt will make the catch. We'll head to the top of the 7th, trailing by 1 here in Fulton County Stadium, July 11th, 1985. Looks like they're going to send Zane Smith out there for another inning of work. He's given up 5 hits already. The 1 home run is the only score of the game. And the first pitch on the way, that ball is sliced down over towards right field. Claudell Washington drifting over just before the warning track makes the catch. F9 in your scorecard. Line drive, hard hit ball, but an out, 1 away. One up, 1 down, and Denny, 6 innings, will go ahead and grab the bat. First pitch is a ball down and away. It's 1-0. Denny 0 for 2 on the night, struck out his last time on a bunt attempt. Pitch on the way, swung on and pops it up. Dale Murphy's underneath it in center, and quickly 2 down. 2 down, and Juan Samuel will be the batter. Solo shot. His 8th of the year back in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Sandwell, showing bunt. Called there for a strike. It's 0-1. Sandwell batting .263 on the year. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. It's 0-2. It's a good observation there, Charlie. Dale Murphy was very well known for his two-handed catches out there in the outfield. You didn't see it from everybody, but it wasn't dead yet. You didn't start dying till the 90s with the two-handed catch. I still think guys should do that more often. Pitch down and away. Well outside the zone, called for a ball. If memory serves me correct, I believe the final out of the 95 series was a two-handed grab by Grissom. If he didn't have it on the glove, it was right there. Some of the guys by that point, as that ball is fouled back. 2 strikes once again to Sandwell. He's got a home run on the year. But if they didn't have two hands, they definitely had that second hand that was right there near the glove. It's a pitch on the way, outside wide. Fastball well off the zone, 2-2. Nowadays, like, you'll just see him just kind of flip the glove up and be like, dude, if the ball goes off the glove, your other hand is nowhere near the ball. As the pitch is swing and a miss, strike 3. Sandwell, and he chucked the bat. He chucked his batting helmet. We'll be back in a flash. You better be careful before he gets chucked. His home plate umpire was giving him the what for. We'll be back 1-0 your score. Bottom of the 7th we go. Bottom of the 7th. They don't take long delays on most of these videos we found, so I can't do the 7th inning stretcher. We'll be so far behind. First pitch on the way. Ken Oberkfell digging in. First pitch is swung on. That ball is roasted through the hole. A worm burner. It's going to be a leadoff single for your Atlanta Braves. Good piece of hitting there by Ken Oberkfell. Righty-righty matchup. Oberkfell staying at first. The first pitch on the way, showing bunt. That ball's going to get away, and Oberkfell moves up 90 feet, and the tying run is in scoring position. How about that? Virgil, that'll be a pass ball on him, I'm sure. Just kind of flipped his glove out there. The ball gets away. Going into tonight's action, the Braves were 12 games out of first place. The Phillies were 12 and a half. First pitch on the way, down and away off of that wild pitch. Misses, ball 2-2-0. Both the lefty and a righty are warming up in the pen for the Phillies. We're here at the bottom of the order. But at that time, San Diego led the West. As the pitch on the way, swung on, chopped over towards short, and that's going to be an easy 6-5 put out. Bad base running by Oberkfell. He was assuming he was going to go to first base, but the ball was hit in front of him. You never head towards the next base, and when the ball is right there, he should have stayed put. So 1 down. That wipes the runner in scoring position away. First pitch is a bender up top, curveball for a strike. It's 0-1. Swing, chops it over towards first. Underhanded, good play there by Schmidt. Kind of underhanded and caught the pitcher in the dead run. Considering he came up as a third baseman, that's a pretty nifty defensive play. An underhanded scoop that hit Denny on the dead run. He didn't even have, I mean, he didn't, that was like a perfect shovel pass in the NFL. See if we can get to this before another pitch is thrown. But the standings in the National League West at that time, the Padres led the Dodgers by a game and a half for the top of the Western Division with 48 wins and 36 losses. The Reds were 5.5 back, Houston 6, and the Braves 12 back at 35 and 47. Chris Chambliss is coming in to pinch hit. Denny is still on the mound. See if they go to a left-hander here. There's Chris Chambliss coming over from the New York Yankees, where he had won World Series with the Yankees earlier in his career. And his dad and my grandfather worked together at the NAS Jacks in Jacksonville, Florida, Naval Base. First pitch on the way is outside wide for a ball. It's 1-0. By this time, my grandfather was retired. I'm assuming his dad was retired. But that was one of the reasons why I became such a big Braves fan, because I knew somebody who knew somebody, and I was just a little kid, and we got to watch them every day. At that age, I had no idea that Chambliss was an ex-Yankee. The 2-0 count, outside wide, called for a strike, 2-1. Wide pitch. Righty-lefty matchup, runner in scoring position. The pitch down and away. Chambliss still swung a pretty good bat in those days. His career was on the back end. Pitch on the way, swing, chops it down the first base line. We'll do it again. The Phillies were 12.5 back. The St. Louis Cardinals led that division, and they went on to win the NL pennant, beating the Dodgers. This is the 1985 season. This is the famous go crazy Ozzie Smith home run. Pitch on the way, swing. That ball is dropped into right field. Here comes the runner around to score. Throw comes to the plate. He is safe. Very close play, but your Atlanta Braves have tied it up. It is 1-1, son. How about that? Good play there all around. Good hit by Chris Chambliss. And not to mention the fact, good hustle coming around the bases. A pretty good throw out there in the right field by Wilson. I didn't think it was going to be close at all. With 2 outs, I thought he'd be booking. They had him played fairly shallow. He definitely gets under the tag. The throw was a little up the line, which allowed the runner to score. If the throw is right there at the plate, it's going to be dead meat city. But 1-1 your score. Righty-lefty matchup. Claudell Washington back to the top of the order. Pitch misses. It's 1-0. 1-0, swing and a miss. The Braves won. Phillies won. Bottom of the 7th inning here in 1985. Pitch on the way is right there on the outer edge. 1-2. 1-2 count. Over in the American League, what was going on is you had the Toronto Blue Jays leading the East. And the team that would eventually win the World Series, the Kansas City Royals, were 7.5 back in the West. With the pitch on the way, swing and a miss, strike 3, but not for the Atlanta Braves. Tie it up. It's 1-1. We go to the top of the 8th. Phillies grabs the sticks when we return. Kansas City was 7.5 back. The California Angels led the Western Division by 6 games over the Oakland Athletics and 7.5 over Kansas City. The White Sox were 7.5 back and Seattle 8 back. That was back when we had uneven leagues. There were 16 teams. First pitch on the way is down and away. Down and in, it's 1-0. It's going to be 14 teams, 7 in the East and 7 in the West in the American League. And there were 12 teams in the National League, 6 in the East and 6 in the West. Pitch down and away, 2-0. So a 2-0 count. You would eventually get in a, what would it be, 7 years, 8 years from now, you would get the Marlins and the Rockies coming into the National League to even it up. And that's when they would go to, strangely enough, as Jeff Dedman comes in. Righty-righty matchup, the pitch on the way, swing, lifts it, high into center field. Camping underneath it is Dale Murphy. With that two-handed catch once again. And away. But when they would finally get it evened up, it was so strange. They added the teams, and then they immediately went to 3 divisions. So for a while there, you had, in the American League and the National League, though you had 14 teams in each, you would have 5, 5, and 4 in the divisions. The first pitch right down the pipe for a strike. It's 0-1. You would have the same thing in the divisions for the American League. 0-1 right there. 0-2. Wouldn't be until the Diamondbacks and the Rays came in that you would get an even amount of teams in the league. As the pitch on the way, swung on. That ball is sliced down to the left field line. That's going to be trouble. And here comes the throw into the infield. And the Phillies have the go-ahead run in scoring position, a double by Von Hayes, his 14th of the year. So, yeah, once they went to the 5-5-4, you had the 3 divisions. That's when they came up with the wild card. Remember, that was going to happen in 94, but because of the strike that ended the season, 95 ends up being the first year that we actually have that rule with the wild card, and the Braves would beat the Rockies in the wild card round and go on to win the World Series. First pitch on the way, swung on and sliced foul over the first base dugout. It's 0-1. The reason why it took them forever to really realize once they started doing the interleague play, because remember when they first started doing the interleague play, it was only a few times a year. And when they finally got to where they were like, well, we want even amount in each league, and unfortunately it's going to be 15 and 15, that's when you started getting the interleague every single day. Pitch on the way, swung on and ripped up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. Here comes the throw from Murphy down to home plate. And the ball is going to skip over the glove of Cerrone, and the Phillies take a 1-run lead. Hayes wasn't 100% sure if he hit the plate, so he stood up and tapped the plate after the throw went to the backstop. But nonetheless, it's 2-1. I think he probably touched the plate, but he was just double checking to make sure they didn't get an appeal. Dedman wasn't a terrible pitch, but it was ripped right up the middle. And the Phillies take a 1-0 lead. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch on the way is out wide for a ball. It's 1-0. You know, Freedom, with Walt Weiss, to me, I wasn't that excited about the hire because it felt like we were just going status quo after a couple of bad seasons, but I like some of the hires they've made to surround him, to give him, as Gene Garber starts to warm up in the Braves pen. But he was, it looks like they're going to go ahead and intentionally walk Mike Schmidt. But some of the guys that they've brought in, so after drawing 2 balls, after trying to pitch around Schmidt, they'll go ahead and just put him on with a sense of playing with fire there. Runners on first and second. The Phillies lead 2-1. As it instantly goes to night on your screen. I like a lot of things that Weiss has done, so I'm not going to – I'm kind of like you, Pete. I'm cautiously optimistic. But to me, more, it's the guys that they're hiring to surround him. And then, of course, when it's all said and done, you're only going to be as good as the pieces that are in that clubhouse. So we've got to go out and address some issues as the pitch is down and in. Misses for a ball. First and second. Phillies lead it by 1. We're here in the top of the 8th. The Braves have just tied it up in the bottom of the 7th. Yeah, John, I don't know if you caught the show this morning, but I talked about it, and as the pitch on the way is chopped over towards short, Rafael Ramirez will flip it to second. It's going to be a 6. 4-3 inning-ending, rally-killing double play. But not before the Phillies put 1 on the board. We'll be back in a flash. It's 2-1, and the Braves will grab the sticks when we return. I won't go over the whole thing again, but on Braves Country today, I was talking about how essentially, as Gary Maddox comes in to play center field for the Phillies, Vaughn Hayes will switch over and slide from center field over to left. Righty-righty matchup on the way as Denny's back out there for another inning of work. This is interesting. Braves trail 2-1. Rafael Ramirez. Part of the order, the 2-3-4 batters is Dale Murphy. Second time. Dale Murphy stands on deck. Calls for a strike. 1-1. Grabs the outer edge. It's 1-2. Ramirez will step out of the box for a second. Once again, they've got the lefty and the righty warming up in the pen for the Phillies. Had that going on last inning, but didn't go to him. But Antoine Richardson, the first base coach, is that pitch is going to be check swinged, and it's going to be a soft line drive to Samuel. L4 in your scorecard, or F4, however you want to put it. It's kind of a looping out, one away. Dale Murphy comes to the plate now, representing the tying run here in the 8th. But Antoine Richardson is evidently really good at teaching base running, stealing, etc., etc. As the first pitch from Murphy is outside wide in the dirt. It's 1-0. But we went over that in the Braves Country today if you want to hear the whole thing. But essentially, it's a good hire. It must be a good hire because the Mets beat writers have written a lot about it. I read a couple. I saw 3 videos and read 2 articles so far, and evidently they were really down in the dumps about him leaving. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. It's now 2-1. And he was offered double his salary to stay with the Mets. He was making $150 last year. They offered $300, and he still left to go to Atlanta. So there's got to be a reasoning behind that. He must see a better path to getting to a managerial position, or maybe he just has a different philosophy that or maybe he's got family in Georgia. Who knows? Pitch on the way to the third time. Dale Murphy is down and away for a ball, and he'll head on down to first. Yeah, keep an eye on that. They have credited Antoine Richardson, the new Braves first base coach, for being the guy that kind of taught Juan Soto how to steal this year. And so they're talking about is the pitch to Horner is right there at the bottom of the knees, look like a sinker. It's 0-1. The question's going to be, does they flip it over to first? Keep Murphy close by. Remember, Murphy back then still had the wheels. He didn't really get the aches and pains till the late 80s, where he really messed up his swing and his base running. Kind of fell off a cliff, which is why he's not in the Hall of Fame. If he just would have kept up his trajectory before the injuries, he's easily going to punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame. But now we're relying on the Veterans Committee to remember how important he was to Major League Baseball at that time. That pitch misses down and away. But they were talking about, like, what is the ceiling now for Acuna? Could he, I think they might be a little over their skis a little bit, but they were talking about maybe 100 steals for Acuna. I think it's more likely the 80-90 range. It's a swing and a miss. This guy, Denny, and Steve Avery, for that matter, they're working pretty quickly. You didn't really see the long delays in the pitching that caused the pitch clock until about the mid to late 90s. And then it bled in to the 21st century. And by the time they changed the rule, I was a little against it, but once I saw it in action, I was like, you know what, I'm fine with it. Pitch on the way, swung on, chopped over towards short. It's going to be off the glove of Yelts, and the throw to first. He is safe! It's going to be an E6 on that play. But good hustle down the line. As Horner's at first and Murphy is at second. If he's not hustling all the way, because Jelks, when he gets that ball, Karams off his glove, he grabs it midair and fires it to first. He's going to get a lot of guys on that throw. It's a really close play. Thankfully, they didn't have replay back then. First pitch on the way. Terry Harper misses. It's 1-0. Batting 263 on the year. 1-0. Right there for a strike. What up, Shroncy? But it's not just Antoine Richardson, the first base coach. I mean, they have spoke highly of a lot of the guys they've hired. I'm just glad that we're getting a new coaching staff, because in general it was stale. Now, you can bring Walt Weiss and elevate him, but they got rid of guys like Kranitz and Freddie Gonzalez, who he was just a fill-in for Tui anyways. But, caught looking strike three. Got punched out on the outer edge. He got caught watching the paint dry. Terry Harper didn't like it, but it did look like close enough where you got to swing the bat. Nasty pitch on the outer edge. You lulled him to sleep and then banged the outer edge with the fastball. And I think we might be getting a pitching change. If not, they're just going out there to talk to him. But the Mauricio Dubon move, I really like that one. It gives you so many possibilities that you can do. And then, of course, bringing Iglesias back, I don't even think we got to talk about that, as they are going to have a pitching change. We'll stay here with you. I don't think we got to talk much about that on the show, because we got to talk about the Antoine Richardson deal and a couple of other things. But I really like the fact they brought back Iglesias, because now you know you got your closer. And let's be honest, back half of the season, he was lights out again. He had a very bad start to the season, and that was magnified by the lack of offense that the Braves had. And then the injuries hit. But if he has a typical year for Iglesias, I was ecstatic to see that we got him back. And then you got Dubon, who can play all over the place with a good glove and much better bat than what Allen is. Hopefully we still address and get Kim, and then you can have him, as the southpaw is warming up, hopefully you can get Kim into the fold. And if you have Kim, and then Dubon is literally what he's supposed to be, which is a utility plus off the bench, guy who's going to get starts, but he's not an everyday starter at any single position. He's going to keep guys like Ozzie fresh. Guys, if we get Kim, he'll keep him fresh. He can even slide over and play third base, and he can play center field, and I think that's the main reason why they went out and got him, because they're looking at it as, yes, he can play short, but if we get Kim, he is going to be a guy that can face lefties, because Michael Harris just continued to struggle all last year against left-handed pitching. Ken Oberkfell, the batter, lefty-lefty matchup. First pitch called for a strike. It's 0-1. Bottom of the 8th inning. 2-1 your score. Pitch on the way, swing, fouls it away. The tying run in scoring position. Well, he's 42, but remember, we've got a lot of coaches that are right in that range. The Braves across the board got younger. Pitch on the way, swing. Check swing, looks like he held up. Two to one your score. Pitch on the way, swing, slice it towards center field. That's down for a base hit. Here comes Murphy around to score, and that's going to tie the game up. Good piece of hitting by Oberkfell, an RBI single. No chance to throw out the speedy Murphy heading around third. Not a terribly hard hit ball, but just right over the head of the infield defense. Tony Mansolino, who is the new bench coach, remember they had hired him as a third base coach, but he's now the bench coach. He is only 43 years old. And the two of the guys that they had rumored to take over the reins as the manager, they were both 40 years and below. Tommy Watkins, who is going to be the third base coach for the Braves, he is 45 years old. So we've gotten younger just across the board. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. He's going for the downs on that one. Braves 2, Phillies 2. Go ahead run. And Jeremy Hefner, who is the Braves' new pitching coach, that's who I was thinking of. He is 39 years old, so he's the youngest. He came from the Mets. I just hope there wasn't some kind of a coup where the Mets sending 2 guys over from the organization and go, all right, well, we're going to take care of y'all. Pitch on the way, swing, chops it over the mound, and that's going to be an easy 4-6 putout, and that'll end the inning. But not for your Atlanta Braves. Tie the game up. It's 2-2. We're going to the 9th inning. Oberkfell with the RBI single to tie it up. And you know, on that note, Tim Hires is 54 years old, but that's still a lot younger than a lot of the guys that we've had in the past. And he looks so much damn young, right? Honestly, I thought Tim Hires was still in his 40s, but he's listed at 54 years old. First pitch on the way to start off the 9th inning. It swung on, chopped over to third. Oberfeld's on it, fires it to Horner. 5-3 put out, 1 away. I'm hoping with the infusion of the youth and the coaching staff that you'll have guys that maybe we've got a fire in that dugout now. Maybe someone's going to step up and start lighting the fire under everyone's ass, because it seemed like we had a bunch of old guys that were just kind of going through the motions. And I've always wondered what Walt Weiss would be like if he was leading a room as opposed to following. Because let's be honest, if you're the assistant manager as opposed to a manager, it doesn't matter what walk of life you are, you're going to let the main guy take the lead and set the tone. But now that he's the guy, maybe he's got some fire in him. He always did as a player. First pitch down and in, misses for a ball. It's 1-0. Bruce Sutter, remember he had come over from the Cardinals. He was one of the better closers in baseball. That moved Gene Garber down to the setup role, as he had some real struggles in '84. 2-2 your score. Top of the 9th inning. July 11th, 1985. The pitch on the way, swung on, pops it up. Oberkfell, he'll make the grab over there in foul territory, and he's a one-man wrecking crew this last inning or so. Tied up the game with the RBI single and has recorded the last 2 outs. 2 down. So when they first brought Mansolino over, he was going to be the third base coach. And when they hired Tommy Watkins, they put him at third base and brought Mansolino up to the bench coach. He had been the interim manager for the Orioles when they fired their manager earlier this year. $10,316 people paid attendance tonight here at Fulton County Stadium. As Thomas comes to the plate, Darryl Thomas will pinch hit. He's coming on for the pitcher spot, the number 9 in the order. First pitch on the way is right there for a strike. It's a 1. Are you asking who the second baseman? Yeah, it's Juan Samuel. He hit a home run tonight to make it 1-0. It was his 8th of the season. Pitch on the way is outside wide. I don't know why, but as far as non-Braves, I had all his baseball cards. I was a big Juan Samuel fan. There really was no rhyme or reason to it. Pitch on the way is swung on, lifted into center field, and Dale Murphy will make the catch, and that'll end the inning. So the Braves will try for some late inning heroics. Bottom of the 9th we go in a 2-2 tie here in Atlanta. Guayo moves over to shortstop and Greg Gross to first. That'll put Mike Schmidt back over to his regular position at third base as they flip everything around. And Larry Anderson is coming on for relief. Anderson, of course, a longtime starter. Samuel would play for the Phillies from 83 to 89 and then be traded to the Mets in 89 and then go to the Dodgers from 90 to 92. And then that's when the merry-go-round started. He went to the Royals, the Reds, the Tigers, the Royals back again, and the Toronto Blue Jays to end his career in 98. Finished with 161 home runs and 396 stolen bases. Pretty good second baseman, darn good second baseman for that era. First pitch to Cerrone is a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. He managed for the Orioles in 2010. The 0-1 swung on, lifted into left field. That ball's going to get down where the green grass grows. Cerrone digging for second, and he will pull up at second base for a leadoff double for your Atlanta Braves. Cerrone representing the winning run. Ball was scalded into the gap. Remember something too about Fulton County Stadium, their outfield was much wider than what we have today at Truist Park because it was an old football field. So you had a lot more, as they're going to go ahead and pinch run for the catcher Cerrone for obvious reasons. And I believe that's Milt Thompson coming in to pinch run. Glenn Hubbard will come to pinch hit. He was my favorite second baseman growing up. We tuned into this game. I was probably pretty upset that he didn't start the game. First pitch on the way is outside wide. Check swing. Tried to lay a bunt down. It's 0-1. Milt Thompson played for the Braves from 84 to 85. Then he was a coach for the Phillies from 2004 to 2010. His playing career spanned Philadelphia from 86 to 88, and then he went, as that pitch is looked like he offered it the butt, but did not call the strike. That'll even up the count. He played as a player after he left the Braves in 85 for the Phillies from 86 to 88, which is I really remember him more as a Cardinal from 89 to 92, and then the Phillies once again, as that pitch is going to be bounced over towards first. They're going to try to throw out Milt Thompson heading over to third base, and that throw is going to be late, and the Braves have the winning run just 90 feet away. But after the Cardinals from 89 to 92, Thompson went to the Phillies, the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Rockies before ending his career in 96. But I really remember him more as a Cardinal in 89 and 92. I do remember him as a Brave, but he rarely started. He essentially came in to do what he's doing right now, a pinch runner. Claudell Washington coming to the plate. Quick powwow on the mound. And now home plate umpires out there in the middle of it. 2-2 your score. Runners on the corners. Milt Thompson just 90 feet away. Claudell Washington, the number 1 hitter, leadoff hitter for the Braves, standing at the plate, righty-lefty matchup. On deck is Rafael Ramirez. In the hole is Dale Murphy, and they're going to intentionally walk Claudell Washington to set up a force at every bag. The runner at first, of course, not meaning anything, and they're wanting to set up a double play or a force out at every single play. But that's also going to force you to bring the entire infield in, because if the ball's hit up the middle, a double play's not going to do you any good. They'll tender Dylan Lee, probably Eli White, and that's actually Alek Manoah, not Maniac. Joel Payamps, I would think they're going to keep. I don't know about Suarez, and I would definitely think that they're going to keep Wentz. I would kind of think they're going to keep Suarez, but we'll see what happens. Rafael Ramirez stands in, bases juiced. Infield is in. So the play right now, the game right now is at the plate. First pitch on the way is down and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Any ball that's hit on the ground, they're going to have to come home unless you can somehow end the inning with a triple play. 1-0, swung on, fouled it back. It's 1-1. 1-1 count. Batting .243 on the year, 26 RBIs with runner in scoring position is Rafael Ramirez. He extended his hitting streak to 10 games earlier in the game. The infield is in, the outfield is in, and Von Hayes is actually playing up the middle at second base. The pitch on the way. Swing! That ball's lifted into right center field. There is nobody there, and the Braves will walk it off. It's a 3-2 win, and your Atlanta Braves win one here on a Friday night on Braves Country Theater. Not a hard hit ball, but they had to bring the infield in as well. They only had 2 outfielders out there. And they were sitting in right and left field. Nobody was in center field. And somebody threw a cap at the ball. I'm assuming that was one of the Phillies players. They threw a cap at the ball as it fell to the ground, and that'll end the game. Y'all have a great night, Braves Country, and when we find out all the information on anything with the Braves, make sure to check our posts here on the channel as well, because we find news that breaks for the Braves and big news across the board. We're going to put it on posts. If it's big enough news, we'll jump on and do a show. We'll see you next week. There will be a Braves Country Today on Friday, even on what is going to be Thanksgiving weekend. We're obviously not doing anything on Thursday, but we are going to do a Friday morning show, 10 a.m. Braves Country Today. And if there's huge news, it'll be an extended game. But Braves win this one 3-2. Y'all enjoy your weekend. Appreciate y'all stopping in. And as always, go Braves!
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart, goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's closing time, y'all. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Have a great one. On your way out, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to tip your favorite bartender. We'll see you. I'm Mac McGee, signing off for Braves Country Radio.